So we're headed off today. US Am Qualifying, TPC Rivers Bend. Looking forward to showing you behind the scenes process of what we do to get ready for a tournament. Right now it is 6:28. Our tee time is at I think 9:10. Cooper's got it down, and then we'll get up there around 8 something. It's about a 2-hour drive. Get our warm up in. The one thing we forgot to do before this, which you're not gonna see in any of the other videos because we forgot to do it, is write down the wind direction for the day. Get on the Weather Channel, write down the hourly wind direction. So Cooper's gonna do that. We got our putt view books with us. Cooper's gonna write it down in there while we're driving. I'm gonna copy it down, and then we'll be ready to go. Let's get it.
This is the Tournament Code.
This video is sponsored by Putt View Books. The perfect yardage book, which includes detailed distance measurements, elevations, and green map with dual view topographic slope. Visit puttviewbooks.com for more information.
Before we show you the round, we want to quickly show you how we use Putt View Books and how we handle a practice round. So hopefully you find this useful. If you got any questions for us, always feel free to reach out to us. Daniel at thetournamentcode.com and Cooper at thetournamentcode.com.
The bunker is 266 carry from where we'll be. Yeah, but that center shot pattern right between the carts there, and then like realistically that brings, I don't know, I think that brings more weeds into play if we center it right there.
It's probably just a 3 or 4.
Yeah, drop it back just down the center of this one. You end up with a longer shot, but it's essentially impossible to put it in trouble. Whereas up there, it's hard OB left right there. It's fine by me. Second hole, par 5 straightaway. Got room. This is just driver over the left tree. I'm thinking is our little.
How far is it?
Just over the right hand side. That's a 270 carry right there.
How far is it?
300 carry. 537, so 300 carry approximately. Bump that a little. Right, we got 57 side to side, but it's either that or hybrid, and I don't think it's hybrid, so I think it's driver right at that tree up at the right. See the one I'm talking about? So
yeah.
Left tree's right there, and then the first tree on the right that's sticking straight up.
Yeah.
You think that's right?
Yeah.
Long right of bunker's dead. Anything left of these trees is dead. To bunker right here, we got to back side of bunker, right side of bunker, we got 73. We got 56 to bunker, which matches up with our putt view book perfectly. I could be convinced to go hybrid, just short of there, and then it's a uphill shot into the green, about 5 or 10, so 250. So that's hybrid again, hybrid. Par 4 up to carry on that bunker right is 303, 61 side to side on that. It's not driver. Center, we got trouble left, bunker right, center at that tree up there is what I'm thinking, the big tree.
That's definitely driving.
Yeah. $15, 470 par 4. At 300, it is 69 side to side. It's just not driver. It's just about centering it. Center it on cart path right there. That's what I'm thinking.
Yep. This course is so much tighter than it looks like
I
on
know.
blue golf.
I know. On blue golf, it's like, oh, it's just driver everywhere. It's still driver a lot of places, but definitely not as much as I thought. 300 carries right around here, running down that way. Down 5, book says. And it's pretty much down 5 the whole way, so that's nice. That's a fun hole. I sent him a picture last night of our putter thing.
Alright, make sure you give me the full view of the book. The putt view book.
Pretty straightforward on this one.
Any elevation.
-3, dead on. Down to 422, 284 carry on both those bunkers. Water down there at 341. Not really concerned. The hill does run that way. It goes downhill some, but we're again -2. I think it's driver. We'll get up there and double check. I think it's driver centered right hand side. So left side of that tree there. You see those trees to the right hand side? There's kind of like a canopy right, canopy left.
Yeah.
Canopy left's probably easier to identify. 10 yards right of the left side tree that's jutting out there. So we're centered right fairway, carry bunker. And we'll see when we get up there. That's mistaken, but I think left is a no-go.
Gotcha.
Well, it's a little tighter than we thought. Probably not driver here.
I could probably hit driver, but since we're playing it for the first time tomorrow, I don't want to just bust one up there and be surprised when I don't find it.
So we'll go 238, just short of 238 off the tee. That'll leave us a 170 shot in. We'll work with that.
As you can see, we're starting on hole number 11 here with our video on hole number 10, which was our starting hole. We had some technical issues, and so we're picking up here on 11. Hole number 1, Cooper had a difficult but pulled off a 2-putt. This putt was a great read by the True Read system. Cooper and I got up there. I don't remember the exact number, but I think we had it about 8 feet, like 1 inch, and you can see what happened. Hole number 13, pretty straightaway par 4. Cooper hit a nice one down the center here. It's pretty tight though, is the thing. That green is wide and that pin's pretty back. Missed it as far as the green goes. Left himself a pretty easy chip right here, and he did a great job just knocking it up tight there. His short game is pretty darn good and makes a nice little putt here, which in US Am's qualifiers and just in general big tournaments, you can't take anything for granted, and so being able to do that is always good. "14, this is where we get our first little weather delay. Cooper hits a great drive out there, and then pretty much out of the middle of nowhere, massive rain. And so we're hanging out on the fairway here for a little bit, get called in. Eventually we get back to going, and Cooper leaves himself a nice little iron / wedge into the green, puts it on top of that hill, and that's just a tough spot to be. That pin is way down there, and that green is really fast, so it's hard for him to even stop this ball as it's going down the hill right here. And as you can see, it just kind of gets going and really gets away, leaving himself a putt that just lips out, which is somewhat a story of the day. But also, it was a good job at least getting it down there and getting a solid look at it. 15's a fun one. It's a driver for sure. Cooper's aiming pretty close to where those trees are on the left there, just because it's actually more room than you think. And he hits it a little bit left. You see that OB stake there, so pretty close to trouble for us. Fortunately, was just fine. Hit a great shot out of here. We were like, oh man, let's go into the water. Just misses going into that creek there. Leave himself a little chip at this point. We're just like, hey, let's get it up there, get a look at it, see if we can make par or bogey, just not compound the problems. And hit a little farther this first chip, was able to get this up here and make a little bogey. Another great read here by the True Read system. I think we had this about foot and a half left. I can't remember the exact number. And it just rolled right down exactly how you'd want it to go. 18 is a pretty straightforward par 5. We're going to want to pay attention to this because this hole becomes very important at the very end, and we'll explain why. But straightaway drive, as you can see from Cooper right here. And then the only tough part is the approach is pretty tight. So we pretty much aimed to the left-hand side of the green here. Missed it a little left, almost hit Cooper's dad. Not a big deal, though. Got it on the green and had a good look at birdie and at least making par, but the 3 putts bit us in the rear, which happened a little more today. You're going to qualify for US Am, you're going to have to hit some good shots. Yeah. You're going to have to make some putts that keep leaning right and it's good. Tough shot here from the bunker for Coop. This kind of shot, when you're hitting out of a lie like that, you got water all to the right. We pretty much were aiming at that left-hand bunker right there, and we're trying just not to go short. Missed a little left, not a big problem here. Pretty good look for up and down, given the circumstances, and he put it in there. Not like super tight, but tight enough to at least get a lift for par. And in those kinds of situations, all you're really trying to do is not make double. You can make bogeys, you just got to not make double if you're trying to make it through to the US Am. This was another one of those putts similar to the one we had on 16, just a little bit downhill, pretty straightforward, a little bit of right to left in it, and made another bomb thanks to the tour read. Hole number 6 is a pretty straightaway par 5. We were aiming up kind of towards the left-hand side of the fairway / rough. Cooper hit a nice one, a little bit left, not a big deal. We had, I think, 215 or so in on this next shot, maybe close to 220. He pulled out a 5-iron about, hit it, just blew it outright. And there was not that much room to miss around that green was the only downside. You just had to play it smart. So we'd aimed to the left center of the green. This was the one thing I was concerned about with missing right. And our second time playing this hole, our essentially only goal was not to miss on the right-hand side. He hits a solid chip here, but just falls right back down the hill. And then, fortunately, we kind of got away with it, which, as I said, if you're going to qualify for the US Am, got to get a little bit lucky every now and then. And hits a really good chip right here. Goes up, plop, right into the cup for birdie. So, not much more you can ask for. Hole number 8's a pretty straightforward par 5 again. It's really a 2 to 3 shot hole, not much of a 2-shot hole. You got to hit it in the fairway. It tightens up near that bunker there. We were aimed a little bit right. Not a problem to miss it right, just meant that we couldn't get there in 2. So Cooper pulled up an iron just to lay up. There's a creek short. You can't really see it that well, but if you'd miss-hit a shot, you could end up in creek. Fortunately, hit it solid, got it over that creek. We ended up with a decent little pitch right here. The pin was on a top tier, and to the right, it kind of sloped down. You can see it's a good shot, and then boom, takes it 60 feet away. This one almost cans it, missed it by an inch. We had a really good read on that. Hole 9, dogleg right, par 4. It really wasn't anything but driver. You could hit something less, but the creek up there wasn't in play. We just smashed it up over those bunkers. You see the creek right there. This green's pretty tough. The target there, Cooper's pretty good player, so he took it pretty close to at the pin because it's sort of a green that's longer on the right, shorter on the left, as you see from this side. He went a little long, not a big deal. Had a nice little chip right here because that's about as good as you can do. Those greens were rolling pretty darn fast, and so you give yourself a look for par right here, and that's about all you can ask for. And to make it finish at 1 under, we were pretty pleased. As you know, with US Am qualifiers, at least how they used to be, changed this year, but you play 36 holes straight. So we finished up our first 18, Cooper shot 1 under, and we moved right on to the first tee. Picked up some new partners as one of ours had dropped out and got going. He just missed that shot. And we just tried to make a bogey.
Yeah.
Douglas in play back there.
Yep. That was good play.
As you heard me just say about hole number 10, double was in play right there. So sometimes you just got to try to make bogey. Hole number 11, Cooper hit solid drive up here into this left bunker. Not a bad miss. Had it pretty, I mean, it's a dicey shot, but it's not the hardest shot. He had a great wedge up there to get us a little birdie look. And unfortunately, wasn't able to can it. But, you know, getting those types of looks during the US Am Qualifier, you need to get as many of those looks as you can. At this point in the round, Cooper's bogeyed 2 of the first 3 holes on our second round. We're back to 1 over overall, 2 over on the round, and so it's pretty easy to get disappointed or concerned, but wasn't concerned really at all. There's a lot of birdies out there, and there's a lot of bogeys out there, which means things go wrong for people. I knew the number was probably going to be 2 to 3, something like that. Cooper did a great job on this hole. Pretty short par 4, but harder to birdie than you would think. Got it up tight there, knocked in a nice little birdie. At this point in the day, it's getting pretty late, so thought they might call it soon. Cooper had a great shot here on his par 3 to just a few feet. I mean, hard to get much better than that.
All right, driving home, they called it. We're going back 8 a.m. tomorrow, 50-50 as to whether I go. My boss said he doesn't care if I go caddy, so it can work. It just depends on the wife and kids. Cooper's got a putt for 1-footer.
Got a 1-footer to get to 1 under on the day. I believe 3 unders leading. I haven't checked the live score.
I don't know, something like that.
Got 13 holes left, so
See what we can do. I mean, what has been super good, I'm not even capping on this, even though they're sponsoring us, is our
a few books.
Putt View books. I'm telling you, if you haven't used any sort of yardage book, if you're the type of person that's like, oh, I'll just go to the course and buy the yardage book there, you're making a mistake.
Or if you're just like the type of person that's like, I'm not even going to play a practice round, I'm just going to buy a yardage book and I'll be fine, you're wrong. What you should do is buy a yardage book and ride the course for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Then you'll be fine.
if you're not going to play a practice round, we didn't. After that, I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've just ridden a course like that, but I thought it was, so far, we played 18 holes, there wasn't anything out there that I was like, oh man, I wish I would have played a practice round to know that. Pretty much seeing the course, having our putt view books, marking it up, that has been more than sufficient to figure out the general gist of it. So, as I said, putt view books, make sure you get it. Yeah, if you don't have a yardage book out there in a tournament, like, I understand it's weird to use, but like it can be weird to use, but you're making a mistake.
So after Cooper tapped in that nice little birdie, we were back to even on the day, 100 for the tournament. Knew that we had a chance at getting it done, which is what you want here. Try to make the most out of what you got. Hit a great drive here. Finally was able to go for this green too. Hit a solid hybrid. I mean, that thing's going 240, 250 with like dew, moisture everywhere. Put it on the backside of the green, put it to the exact same spot where we were the other day, and did a great job rolling this putt right here. Pretty much a replay of the exact same thing we had happen the last time we played hole number 9, but this time Cooper has a closer putt and the shorty bites us, unfortunately, and that is a theme in this round. This is your first time seeing hole number 10, except for our practice round. As you can see, it's kind of an iron, hybrid-ish off the tee, shot down between those bunkers. Really no point in pushing it any further. Tough pin location. Cooper has a nice wedge right here to get it pretty tight, relatively speaking. That pin was right on the hill. Not easy to manage, and unfortunately, as you can kind of see, a lot of work has to go into the putting on these kinds of rounds at this stage of the game. Cooper did a good job managing the disappointments, though, as far as this goes. We're back to 1 over, even on the day. Did a good job. We hit a drive out there and play, but really wasn't goable. So laid up just short of the creek on the par 5. And he hit a nice one right here. Had a really good look at birdie. And as I was watching, it's like, man, that could be it. And then the guy jinxed us and he missed it. And this is where the wheels kind of start coming off. Not a death blow, but definitely made the round harder. Cooper hits one long over the green here into a bunker, splashes it out to about 7-8 feet, and then what's that? No more video. Why is there no more video? Because our videographer was concerned he was making Cooper nervous, and so decided to stop the video. Not a big deal. As you can see, we get to 18 here and have a putt for eagle and a chance to make the US Am. But before we talk about that, let me kind of just tell you everything that happened in between, because a lot of cool stuff happened in between and important stuff. So first, while we're sitting on the still here, Cooper has a 7-8 footer for par on 12, misses that. Leaves himself about 2 to 3 feet, misses that. Double bogey, not what you want. And then follows that up on hole number 13 by hitting one way left, almost in the trees, and in some tall weeds. He was 2 yards from OB, was able to get himself a stance and hacked it out back into the fairway to about 80, 90 yards, hit that to 3 feet, makes it. And that's one of those things you got to remember, because lots of ways to make par. You want to hit greens in regulation to make par, but if you can't, it's okay. You just got to keep working and get it out there. Hole number 14, hit one dead down the fairway. Nice shot onto the green, 2-putt par, no problem. Hole number 15, you remember that tough par 4 down to the right? He hit driver wedge to about 15 feet, makes the 15-footer. So we kind of stabilized, are feeling like, okay, we don't have a perfect chance, but we got a chance. And then 16, we hit one left into the bunker there, really tough up and down, misses the putt for par, bogey. And at that point, we are 3 over on the round, 2 over overall, and I'm concerned that Cooper thinks we're out of it. And I'm looking at the scores, and normally I don't say, hey, here's where we're at, but I wanted to make sure he didn't just give up. So on 17, I say, hey, man, you want to know where we're at? He says, sure thing. I was like, look, right now, we're right there. There's a guy at 3, there's a guy at 2, and in the post round, I kind of talk about this, and we got a chance to do it. We just got to make a couple birdies and see what happens. So 17, hits a nice one out there, hits one to 4 feet, and knocks that one in. And then on the 18th hole, probably 2 of the best shots I've seen. It's that dogleg right you remember from the video. Hits it out straight away. Great drive. Leaves himself 250 in. Pulls out hybrid and hits this cut hybrid dead at the pin. I was pretty stoked. And then on top of that, great distance. And so that putt you see Cooper standing over right there is for eagle. He's 2 overall on the round at that time. This is going to be even on the round, 1 under overall. And we know we're borderline qualifying / ending up in an alternate spot if he makes it. And he hits it, trickles right down the slope. Shout out to Tua Reed. Bam, drops in the cup. Not much more you can ask for.
All right, so we finished up 36 holes. It was up and down for a while. Cooper.
A lot of birdies, a lot of bogeys. Not a lot of sleep, but we got a second alternate somehow.
I think the big takeaways, maybe we'll do something later about more takeaways, or maybe put that on Twitter or something. The big takeaways for Cooper, give us like 2 takeaways for you, and I'll do 2 for myself.
I'm really happy that I hit the driver well. I'm really happy that Daniel came through with the green reading, and I made a lot of putts. So overall, I'm happy with how everything went.
Yeah, I think one takeaway was the tour read system that we've been using. Was super impressed by, one, the quality of the reads, how quick we could get the reads, and the fact that we didn't have to bend down and look at every single read like people might. Like some guys were like going to the opposite side of the hole every time and creating this like artistic, almost an artistic vision of what they thought the ball did. And hey, that's for other people, but all I can tell you is, as far as feet of putts made this week, we probably were close to the top. Strokes gained putting, probably not
Missed
due to
a
some
couple shorties,
3 putts.
especially this morning.
Yeah.
And then I had a couple 3 putts just due to some of the big slopes out there and not judging those correctly. But I haven't made that many putts in a long time.
It's been a while. And then takeaway number 2 is a good reminder playing in that kind of event. You know where you stand to a degree, but if you're gonna qualify for something like the US Am, it's pretty clear what has to happen. You don't have to play perfect golf. You have to play quality golf, and you have to have some luck go your way. And luck doesn't mean like, oh, the ball bounces off the tree. It means like you got to make some putts that you might not always make. You got to have some. And for us, like when it was happening, going on, like yesterday, we missed some putts. Some putts we missed. Some iron shots we missed. Where when it happened, I was like, okay, like if we're gonna make it, like these things can't go against us the entire time. We're gonna have to make some, and some things went right.
You know, I had some bogeys where I wasn't too displeased with them. Like, you know, first hole, I think it's hole 3 or something. I hit in the fairway bunker, hacked it out up there. You know, had a flop shot, but I got bogey out of it. I didn't have any blow up holes, which always kept me in it.
Yeah.
But still kind of playing from behind.
Yeah, and then today, same thing. We got ahead of it in our remaining 13 holes or whatever we had. Cooper went birdie, and then again, you're gonna have to make some tough putts. Is the thing. It's not gonna be like, oh, that was a really easy 65 I fired or 67 I fired. It's gonna be more of you're gonna have to make some tough putts. You're gonna have to make some tough pars, and if they don't go, then sometimes that's the nature of it. So for like Cooper went bogey 9, bogey 10 on a 3 putt, bogey, par 11,
Par 11,
and then 12. And this is one of the things I just noted to Cooper. Okay, 11 was actually a 3 putt with a missed 3-footer or something of that nature.
Very short putt. I mean, just lack of focus. And what I do sometimes is I jerk my head up on the short ones. Thankfully, that was probably the only one that happened that time. But I mean, at that point, I pretty much just had to say, you know, whatever happens, we're just going to play some golf from here on out. And I got lucky on the next hole, somehow made a par out of that.
Well, and that's the thing, like, it'd be easy, again, junior golfers probably do this more often than others, and that's why I pick on them, like any Am, after going from being 2 under, which was right about the number we needed to be, 3 was it, and I thought that 3 would be it, going from 2 under to go bogey, par, double, so to drop 4 shots and go to 2 over, most people would be like, all right, well, that's it, I guess. Instead, Cooper hits one on our 11th or 13th hole of the day. Hits one on the 13th.
Make double. Hook a drive.
Looks like it's going OB.
Weeds.
It's in the weeds, and he had essentially no shot out onto the green, etc. He hits it out, hits a tree, bounces to 84, and like to me, I'm like, okay, like especially with the 2 read, I'm like, if we can just get a look at a putt, if we get something inside 20 feet, we got a decent chance of making it. And then he hits one to 5 feet or something like that, 3 feet, and taps it on in, makes par, and it's easy to give up in those spots. And it's the same thing down the stretch. We knew he needed it. He made a birdie on 15, and then on 16 had an 18-footer. It wasn't a 2 read. I had a slight misread on that.
And then on 17 fairway, this is not something that I normally do, but Daniel's like, hey man, do you want to know the scores? Like, they were going around doing some live scoring there, so we had a chance to see where we were at, and like hadn't looked at the scores. I looked at the scores in between rounds, but I wasn't like on my phone that whole second round to see, oh my gosh, where I'm at. But like 2 holes to play, I was like, yeah, I want to know where I'm at. So, and I figured I had to go birdie to have a chance at anything. And he said there's a couple guys at 3, guy at 1, and a guy at even, and I was 2 over sitting in the fairway. And the guy we were playing with was actually even too, so I could see kind of what I had to do just to get an alternate spot. And I hit a good shot in there to about 15 feet. We had been rolling the ball well. Daniel said, you know, this putt's straight, maybe going a little bit to the right. And I trusted it. I hit a great putt. So now I'm +1 going into the last hole, par 5, reachable. Kid I'm playing with, he's even, so all I gotta do is tie him. Hit a great drive down the middle, and I was in this spot yesterday, but I hit a terrible hybrid, so
All you have to do is beat him by 1.
all I have to do is beat him by 1. I trusted my line with the hybrid, hit a great shot in there. He doesn't hit a very good shot, so we both end up having about 8 footers. I have my 8-footer for eagle, he has his for birdie, so I'm saying, like, if we both make these, you know, we're both going to get one of these alternate spots. I rolled mine in, he missed his, and we snagged the second alternate.
And that's the thing. The reason why I said that to Cooper coming down 17 is because I was worried that he knew we were 2 over. I was worried that he would be like, all right, like, I'm out of it, this doesn't matter. And I'm like, when his dad showed me the leaderboard, I was like, okay, like, we have a chance to backdoor something. Golf Genius is not always right. Like, we can get there.
I actually thought back to the last time I played US Am Qualifying 2 years ago, where I came out hot the first round. I shot 67, and like I slowly dropped back, and like by the time the 36th hole rolled around, I thought I was completely out of it, and I ended up bogeying the 36th hole. When a par would have gotten me the first alternate spot, and the first alternate actually got in that year. So you're never out of it, especially in these type of things. And it was good that Daniel reminded me of that, because you know we got something out of it.
Yeah, I think, again, not to harp on it too much, impressed by the tour read system. The guys out there who had caddies with them doing reads for them, the reads they were getting were just not good, or at least like
they were just coming up with it on their own from their eyes and other feel things.
They did not make as many good reads as we did. Not to give ourselves credit, it's just
the greens were also really good too, so that helps with getting the right read and knowing whether or not that was the right read.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty more to dive into, and we'll probably talk about it some other time. But those are the big takeaways for playing in that event. If you're going to win, if you're going to qualify, you got to play good golf and you got to get lucky.